The whole time that I was in prison, I took the approach that I wanted to have as many options as possible. And this came from something someone told me, that every decision we make is like a fork in the road. It either creates more or fewer options for us. So when I looked at things, I tried to look at what options they would create in the future. For example, I worked a bunch of different jobs while I was in. So I worked in the wood shop. I worked even different positions in the wood shop with different machinery, designing, administrative, whatever. I also worked in the law library. I also worked maintenance because I wanted to have experience in all these different places. In my mind, working in the law library was giving me legal experience, but it was also like working in an office. It was dealing with people. It was skills that would be directly applicable to other things I could do. Working in the factory would give me the opportunity to go do that if I got out. Working and learning a trade, becoming an electrician would help me. Getting my college degree would help me. Getting all these things allowed me to position myself where I had more and more options. Because I didn't know what my life was going to look like when I got out of prison. I didn't even ultimately know I was going to get out of prison. Because I had a release date, but like that deep fear that we always had is that we're not going to make it. Something's going to happen to us. Something's going to happen to the state. There's going to be some worldwide whatever, and they're going to come in and like take us out. We just didn't know. But having those options really prepared me. And the last thing I ever expected was that I would have so many options when I got out that I felt paralyzed. I think if I had stayed in my small town and I had done those things and just had what was in front of me, probably still would have had a lot of options, but it would have been easier to navigate because it would have been choosing between 5 things or 10 things, not the infinite number that I found. But once I started growing on social media, once I started getting asked to speak places, once I started getting involved in tech conferences and things all over the world, all of a sudden I have all these options. Literally, we were at Rally Innovation in Indianapolis, sit down with a guy, have tacos. He runs a venture firm. They do health tech and med tech. And he was like, hey, I'd like to meet you if you ever come to Seattle. Well, I was going to Seattle a couple days later for a concert, ended up going, meeting him and having coffee. And he said, hey, I want you to work with us. I just can't stop thinking about you. I just think you're really a talented individual. And like, let's figure out some way to do this. So now all of a sudden I'm spending a couple hours a week doing venture work, or coaching people through pitches, or helping people prepare or do business plans. So all of a sudden, this is whole new thing in my life. And I could do that. I could go work for a venture firm. I could go do pitch coaching full time. I could do storytelling full time. But I also have the nonprofit, which came out of social media. I was literally at a party with somebody and he said, hey, who are you? Like, tell me your story. I hear you have an interesting story. We go through this whole conversation. At the end, he's like, give me your information. I want to check some things out. And I was applying for a job then. I was applying for this big national job, and it would have been just like kind of a hassle, but it would have been clear, like, this is my job and this is what I do. The next day he sends me an email saying, don't take this job. They're going to waste your talent. Here's why. And also, I believe in you so much that I want to fund you to start a nonprofit. So all of a sudden I'm in this position where I have this thing, and it wasn't like I had a central mission or knew what I wanted to do. I just had the opportunity to do something. So then with that, even, I didn't know what to pick. We started doing reentry classes. People couldn't show up. They were busy. Like, life was complicated. Once they got out of prison, we realized we had to work with people while they were inside. So I started working with people in the juvenile centers. We were going in there monthly, bringing in speakers, eventually organizing family events and big community days where we had resources and families and bringing everybody together. And I wanted to do the same thing for the adult population. And that's why we started Secondchancer Connect. We have a technology platform that allows mentors to connect with incarcerated people. But here's the thing, we were doing small pilots, and then now we're national, we're nationwide. And so we're getting like hundreds and hundreds of emails and letters, and I'm having to try to figure out, how do we manage this? How do we, because the process is automated, but not entirely. Like, we have to drag and drop the scanned letter, we have to drag and drop the email. It goes into the system, it goes out to the mentor and comes back, but we have to do that. And so I have to figure out, well, do we have enough funding to hire somebody to do this full time? Do we get volunteers? Is that like a privacy issue? I'm not always sure how to navigate that. Then additionally, if I do fundraise and get somebody in there, like, where do I start? Sure, we've gotten some funding from this initial person, we've gotten some grants, we've gotten some private donations, but it's like, that has to be the focus of my life while I'm also trying to figure out how to make this system work, or how to write the mentorship package so the mentors are best prepared to work with incarcerated people. And it's like taking up so much of my energy that it's good because it means I'm focused on one thing, but it means I'm also exhausted because I'm writing a book that's due December 1st. So I've got less than 30 days to finish my book, and I'm at 83,000 words. So I'm good on content, but I really want to pare it down, and I want that book to be the best thing it can be. And the problem is, again, when I'm doing everything, I'm not doing anything fully. So I also have the venture stuff, the coaching or the pitch coaching or the storytelling. I have the book, I have the nonprofit, and it's like, well, does any of this fill me up? And in some ways it does. It feels meaningful, it feels good. I love being able to work with people. I love knowing that we're making connections. On the other side, it's, well, what's going to be enough? Because I have this kind of scarcity mentality, or I worry about having enough, because there were times in prison where, like, even if I had money on my account, well, something happens and they don't run the store for a week or a month, and you run out of food and you go hungry and you're just not feeling good. And I don't ever want to go back to that. And the day I walked out the door, I didn't have anything and I felt okay. But immediately, as soon as I started like getting things, I started like having a place to live, wanted to protect that place to live. I was worried about losing that place to live. I just worry, and I don't know how to break out of this scarcity mindset, because the reality is that I'm okay. 3 years out of prison, I'm traveling around the country, I'm running a nonprofit, I'm doing consulting. Like, I'm in a place where I'm okay. I'm able to pay the bills. bills. But when you have a series of things, like last month I broke the cell phone, and so I had to do the insurance claim, and they denied my insurance claim, and I have to go back on that. That's money out of my pocket. We did this fundraiser cruise out of Miami, and was excited to have everybody sign up, and had to pay out of pocket for it. We thought we were gonna be able to raise enough money. It didn't quite work. And then I didn't realize cruises were essentially scams, that once you sign up for the cruise, you have to buy all the add-ons. So I'm taking somebody with me, my realtor, who's been amazing, who's done everything for me for free and never asked for anything in return, but I know she likes to drink. So I was like, oh, well, there's a drink package, so I'll buy it, but you have to buy it for everybody. So even if I didn't want to drink, I still have to buy it for me because we're in the cab together. Okay, so I buy that. And they're like, oh, by the way, if you want Wi-Fi, you have to buy that. Oh, by the way, if you want, so all of a sudden that's more money we're out because I promised that I was going to take her with me to thank her. And now it's, complicated. But it's just a situation where it is okay. And I can do what's right in front of me, but I don't feel like that. I get stuck in my head, and I get lost, and I get overwhelmed. And even today, after working on the book for hours and hours, after working on the mentor packet yesterday for hours and hours, I just feel restless. I feel like there's something I'm missing or something I need to be doing. And I struggle to slow down. I struggle to just relax and enjoy, because I'm in Indianapolis. It's Taylor Swift weekend, for God's sakes. I may not have gotten tickets. I couldn't get tickets because they're really expensive. So even if I hadn't spent all that money last month, I still probably wouldn't be able to go. But it was interesting to go downtown. We went the other morning and just went to go get breakfast, and it was packed. Everybody was in there. Everybody had Eras shirts and Taylor Swift shirts, and it was just a different world. But I was kind of enjoying the vibe. Everybody seemed happy. Everybody seemed into it. A lot of people with sparkles. Life is always better over sparkles. But I'm facing all these options, and I don't always know what to choose. And the reality is, I can just do what's right in front of me. But in the back of my mind, there's this anxiety. It's just looming fear that I'm making the wrong decision, or that I need to do something differently. And actually, somebody gave me really good advice on that too. They said, if you come to two options and you don't know which one to pick the one that it is easier to undo. So if it's okay, I can either join the military, or I can, take a temp job. Well, undoing the temp job is pretty easy. You just quit. You can't just up and quit the military without all sorts of kind of fiasco. So if I was equally balanced between those two, the best one to take is a temp job. Because if I decide I don't want to do it, I can cancel and I can go the other direction. And I'm trying to apply these platitudes and this advice in my life. And I think that it works for the most part. I think that I kind of keep things balanced, but I get in this work mode because I don't know how to relax from prison, where I'm still out taking advantage of the world because I want to say yes to everything, because I want to have all these experiences. And that means that I don't really relax and enjoy it. So here I am in this beautiful city of Indianapolis, which I actually really like Indianapolis. People talk crap about it, but I really like the city. And I'm not really enjoying myself. I was feeling so restless that I went out and I walked down to the library. It was a really cool library. I love architecture. There's a really pretty church down there. And even there, it's I couldn't just enjoy it. I couldn't just sit and feel it. I couldn't just kind of sit down and relax. And so I'm working on that. I'm trying to figure out how to get back to relaxing. Yesterday, I went and did jujitsu for the first time in months because I had this shoulder injury. It was amazing. It was one of those times where I get to just turn my brain off. I get to just go and kind of exert myself. And one of the ways I usually cope when I'm feeling that way is to go do something physical. Because when I'm having anxiety or this kind of energy buzzing in my chest or buzzing in my muscles, I just go work myself until I vomit, and then you know what? I don't have to worry about that anymore. And it may not be the healthiest coping mechanism, but considering some of the coping mechanisms I used in the past, we're gonna call it a win. I'm at this position where I feel like I have so many options and I need to start paring them down. So I've tried doing lists, I've tried doing examinations. I even did something that I thought was good. I wrote 3 5-year plans. So totally different directions in my life, 3 5-year plans. And the problem is I'm kind of happy with each of them. I want to do all of it. I think the only problem would be that if I only followed this one path, I would feel like I was missing out. And I don't know if that's FOMO from prison. I don't know what it is, but I don't know how to balance that out to where I have a life that is full and diverse and I'm doing a bunch of different things. Because I'm essentially creating a prison where I'm scared to say yes to anything because it means saying no to anything else, which means I'm really just kind of saying no to everything, which is unfortunate. So I'm working my way through it. And if you have any advice, please let me know. But I know a lot of people in this situation, whether they're in prison or not, who still feel kind of trapped, just still feel stuck in not knowing what path to take. And I guess in some ways it's like I'm a college student. I mean, went to prison at 18, was in for all those years. So if you don't count the prison time, I only have 3 years in the world. I'm only 21 in free world age. What does a 21-year-old want to do with their lives? I don't know. I don't know if they know. Every time I find people who do, it's just impressive to me. But I'm kind of going through that process, and maybe I just need to try more things, When I was in New York, every time I go to New York, really, I meet incredible people, and I realize it's just such a connected crowd. Maybe I need to go move to New York for a little while. Go spend a year or 5 years, maybe 10 years, getting to know people, getting tied in with the culture, creating opportunities, and then kind of taking advantage of them. I'm gonna go work in an office. Maybe I need to go be a forest ranger in the middle of nowhere. I don't know, and that's a problem. But I do know that if I had stayed in the small town I was in, or if I could settle, or I did settle for the things that, I thought were big enough then, I wouldn't be satisfied because I'm always moving forward and I'm always wanting to do something new. So whether it's a way to make money or that's a way to help people or that's a way just to have different experiences, I want to say yes to all these things. And I'm hoping I'm able to do that. hoping I'm able to go to Europe this year. I'm hoping I'm able to continue traveling. I'm hoping I'm able to see friends all over the country that I haven't been able to see. And so far, it's all worked out. And that's where the scarcity versus abundance things come in, because I see all these things to be afraid of, or all these reasons it won't work out, and that I'm still here and it's working out. So I'm trying to trust the process. I'm trying to just let go. I'm trying to relax. And so that's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to try to turn my brain off and relax. Might, as a matter of fact, just lay down on this couch and just like turn it off, because I need a break, man. I'm tired.